Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Engine Builder Show. Our topic for today will be how to apply the basics of modern SEO to your website. If you want to learn more about this, then definitely tune in. Again, thank you, everybody, and enjoy the show. Good morning, everybody.
There was always a ton to learn. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Today, we're going to talk about SEO, search engine optimization, and that's because this conversation comes up really frequently with my clients in conversations with prospects, and it's something that over the years has become, in some senses, a little bit more complex, and in other senses, it's actually become a lot easier. And because of the changes, because of just the whole industry, I think that it's a space that's actually a lot more confusing than it needs to be. And it doesn't have to be confusing because everything in business, in my experience, comes down to principle-based thinking. And if you understand the principles and the foundational elements of something, then it's a lot easier to understand it and apply it. It's also a lot easier to manage a project. If you're hiring a vendor, hiring an agency, hiring a team member, to manage something for you, if you really understand the principles and the foundations and the basics of it, it's a lot easier to make sure to manage and get the results that you want to get. So just like Jethro said, we're going to talk about how to apply the basics of modern SEO to your website, and obviously so that you can get results, so that you can get leads, you can get traffic and things like that. And before I get into the three things that we're going to cover, I want to use an analogy and tell you a story about something that happened to me a little over a year ago, so that you understand, the process of how SEO actually works. So we're going to pull it out of the technical world, because sometimes the technical world is a little bit hard to understand, and we're going to pull it into the real world that probably most of us have experienced. So about a little over a year ago, when I was having my 39th birthday, because this year I turned 40, which is crazy, scary, and fun. I'm excited about it, but I can't believe I'm already 40 this year. But anyway, when I was turning 38, Rachel invited some of my younger brothers and their spouses, and we went to a really nice restaurant that we enjoy going to. And we have a favorite server there. So we actually make our reservations through our server, because that way she can wait on us, and she takes amazing care of us. And the reason that we enjoy having her being our server is she pays attention to the things that we want. Rachel has some special diet requirements that she needs to have handled, so those always get taken really care of really well by our friend who serves us there. They know our preferences. We could go to any one of these locations at this restaurant, and they would actually still know all our preferences, even if we were out of town. But we always go to this one specific spot. And so we got there. Everything was exactly the way we like it. The server brings in Pepsi to the restaurant because Rachel doesn't like Coke, and the restaurant has Coke, but our server brings in Pepsi from when she comes into work, and so she serves Rachel Pepsi. It's a small detail, but it makes a huge difference for Rachel's experience. And she knows what I like to order, what I like to drink. She takes great care of my family. She's really fast. She's really responsive. She makes it a really great experience for us. And so there's a couple things that come out of that approach and how she takes care of us. One, we love coming back, and we always ask for her, and she gets continued business, her as the server. The other thing that happens is the restaurant gets continued business because of how she's showing up and serving and helping the folks that come in, us being one of them. And she has a lot of great clients that come into her restaurant, and that she serves. And so I'll tell a little bit more about the story, and then I'll jump into the three things because it'll make sense here. So anyway, when I was turning 38, Rachel surprised me, got my brothers there. I knew I was going to the restaurant, but I didn't know they were all coming. And so I walked in. It was a big surprise, and we had a private room and had a great meal. And our server's name is Jackie, and she took amazing care of us as always. We had a great experience at the restaurant. The general manager came out, and actually he made this special dessert for me because he used to cook. Apparently he made the special dessert flan that I really like. And at the end, because I always love doing this on my birthday whenever possible, Rachel and I decided to leave a tip that would pay our server's rent. And so we left her a huge tip. It was the best part of my birthday, because that's what I want to do on my birthday, is give things away. And we had an amazing time. And so our server really benefited from how well she'd taken care of us for well over a year, maybe a year and a half, or to even 2 years at that point. And we really had an amazing experience. I had a great birthday, and she ended up having, her rent paid that month from it. And so she had got a ton of benefit because she was showing up and really serving us well, but she was also serving the restaurant, which was her employer. And so just keep that in mind as we go into the SEO aspect here, because it'll apply in a moment. When we're talking about SEO, one of the things that you need to pay attention to is that you need to have consistent, high quality content going out. Anytime that our clients hire us and we come up with a content strategy, we write in-depth articles that are masterpiece, cornerstone, pillar posts. There's a lot of terms around SEO, but they're long form, very thorough and informative authority pieces around a topic. The reason that we do that is because we want the customer of Google, the person coming into the restaurant. Google is the restaurant. The customer is, the patron of the restaurant, is the person searching. The customer of Google, when they're searching in Google, we want them to get a fast, good response that solves their problem. And so having consistent, high quality content is one of the pieces that solves that problem. Because if you write really thorough, informative content that answers the questions that, the customers of Google have, the people searching for that answer, that solution, then it only makes sense that Google is going to let you have ranking and position, because you're creating a good experience for their customer. Just like our friend Jackie, who serves us, she is able to work anywhere she wants. She can work at the top restaurants in our area. She makes really good money doing it because she creates a great experience for the customers of the restaurant, right? So it's the same thing in Google. If you create great content, then you're going to be able to not only please the customers of Google, but please Google. It's a win-win. So consistent, high quality content means at least on a weekly basis, a new piece of valuable content is going out. And then the other content that you write over time will actually link to those pillar pieces of content as well. I'm not going to go super deep there, but again, the principle to pay attention to is consistent, high quality content going out at least on a weekly basis, if not on a daily basis, when you're being really aggressive with your SEO plan. The second thing that's really key in SEO is having high authority links pointing back to you. So if you were to come to my town, come to Cleveland, Ohio, and ask me where's one of the best places that you can eat, or that I can eat while I'm here, I would say, well, you definitely want to go to Jackie's restaurant, because she'll take amazing care of you. I'll even give you her information. You can set up a reservation with her and she will take amazing care of you. You'll have an amazing meal and it'll be great. My high credibility in your life, because we're friends, pointing you to where you should go eat and what experience you should have, is the same thing as when you go out to a high credibility, high authority website and ask them to link back to your website. When they do that, in Google's eyes, they go, oh, we keep seeing that all these people are pointing back to this one great resources that was created. There's a lot of really credible websites out there that are pointing back to this resource, this article, or this website that you created. And so this might be a great resource. It's by, popular polling, essentially, with all these links that are pointing back to this piece of content or this website. This must be a credible piece of information. And so we're going to rank that higher than, another site that doesn't have a bunch of people, pointing to it, essentially. So when you think about high authority links, high authority domains, as an example, just because they're easy to remember, is like if you were to get a link on like a CNN or a New York Times or something like that, that's a really high authority link because of the fact that so many people read it every day. So many other sites link to it. Those are example. News sites are like that. Really high powered blogs, like in kind of the entrepreneurial space. If you were to have Tim Ferriss link back to you, he has a high authority blog. A lot of people read it. A lot of people link to it. So the other way to look at that is if you roll into a new town and you want to go, you find somewhere to eat and you happen to run into the mayor, and the mayor of the town goes, you know what, this is the perfect place. You should go there. That's a high credibility endorsement. So those are the type of websites that you want to link back to your site. High authority websites that already get a lot of traffic, that have what's called a high domain rating with Google. When they point back to you, that's more and more people pointing to you and saying that you are the credible source and you are the person that the customers of Google should go to solve problem X. Problem X is usually, how do I stop my dog from crying all night, because he's a new puppy, or how do I, teach my kid these hard math skills. Google's customers are coming to Google to solve a problem, to get a need met. And so if you want to be the resource that's referenced, you need to have consistent content, and then you need to have a bunch of high authority websites pointing back to you so that you have the credibility in Google's eyes to go, oh, this is a better result than this other result that has nobody endorsing it or pointing to it. That's all backlinks are. That's all high authority links are, is high domain rating websites linking to your website. And skilled search engine optimization folks, SEOs, have the skills, the tools, and the process to reach out and get those sites to link back to your website. The third thing that you want to consider, and these are top three in my mind, that if you really pay attention to these three areas, you're going to have success in your SEO. The third thing is page speed. So again, back to the restaurant analogy, if Rachel and I were to go to this restaurant, and even though we thought we had a reservation, which we always make a reservation, and then we get there and they say it's going to be a 90-minute wait, we would leave. We would go somewhere else. We don't have an hour and a half to wait to get into dinner. We would even go to a cheaper, lower, place that we've never eaten before, that we don't even know if the food's good, because we'd be hungry and we want to solve our problem. So page speed on your website is how fast is the page loading. There's Google has a great tool called the Google Page Speed. If you just look up Google Page Speed tool, it'll come up for you. And if you put your URL in there, it's going to measure two parts of your page speed. It's going to measure your desktop page speed. How fast is the website loading in a desktop browser, like on a computer or laptop? And it's also going to show your mobile page speed. Your mobile page speed is significantly more important than your desktop, because 60 to 80% of all traffic on your website is, these days in almost all niches anyway, is going to come from a smartphone or a tablet. And so when you put your website in there, you're either going to get a score that shows green and you're in good shape because it loads fast enough, or you're going to get a score that's in the orange or red because your page is not loading fast enough. And essentially it means that somebody's trying to come to your establishment, your website, and they get there and there's a wait of 90 minutes. I'm leaving. So a wait of 90 minutes in the technology world is really anything over 3 seconds. So 1, 2, 3. That's as long as you can make somebody wait, and you actually want it to be shorter than that. But page speed creates a great customer experience. When you have a really fast website, Google goes, not only do they have great information, they're posting consistent content that solves our customers' problems around this specific topic. They also have all these high authority websites that are pointing back to them and saying, these folks are credible. They're the right resource for this information. And you're consistently getting new people pointing to you with those backlinks, with those high authority domain links. And then the third thing is the page speed. When we do send people to this result, Google is thinking in their algorithm, it loads really fast. They get the answer, they get the service, they get into the restaurant really quickly. And so when you think about those three things, you don't have to know, as the business owner, as the entrepreneur, you don't have to know how to solve for all those, but you do have to be able to track and make sure you're getting results on those fronts. So consistent, high quality content is the first thing that you want to have on a weekly basis, if not more. Getting to the daily cadence eventually is more costly, but it's aggressive and it works well in the long run. So minimum weekly, and then building from there. The second thing is getting high authority domain links to link back to you. That's the second key. And then the third thing is to make sure that your website is very fast and easy to use, especially on mobile, but on desktop as well. That page speed is really key. And so that will create a great experience for the customers of Google. And that's ultimately what will make your website rank higher, and you'll get more traffic. And if you have clear calls to action and the other things that we talk about on the show, you really have a great offer. Then you'll have people viewing what you have to offer, and you'll have engagement. You'll be able to get really great results from your website. So if you have any questions about that, we love helping our clients with SEO. You're welcome to reach out. Just comment down below or shoot us a message. You can go to businessmarketingengine.com, and I'd be glad to just take a look at what you're doing. Even if you have another provider, we're happy to take a look and give an analysis for you. But regardless, search engine optimization, SEO is a huge part of any business, regardless of if you're fully online or fully offline, or more offline as a business. It's a really key part of any business today. And so I would encourage you to make sure that you're investing in this on a consistent basis, because it's a great way to grow consistently over time. So thanks for tuning in today. If you have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, we will see you tomorrow.